Happy anniversary, everybody. 5 years later, and we're still a big deal. My name is Mel Lake, and as a Maarten born who was studying in the Netherlands, I have been asked to answer some questions about 10-10-10 and what do I think about where we are now. So, without much ado, here we go. 1. How do I look back to 10-10-10 from then to present? Since 10-10-10, much has changed with Sint Maarten and Curaçao. Much like Aruba, we received a similar autonomous status within the kingdom. There was an anxiety and excitement back then, as Sint Maarten looked forward to standing on their own. But, in fact, I remember that perpetual slogan because almost every island pair of mine believed it to be true. It was a positive outlook to the future. But has 10-10-10 been a failure? Well, direct communication with the Netherlands and own control of the allocation of the national budget seemed like pros for my island. But since then, my island has had 5 governments as of this year, ministers with scandals, and has been accused of heavy corruption and interference by the underworld with the political scene. So, without a doubt, my island is struggling, and things definitely need to get better. What wishes do I have for my island? Well, many, but mainly I've got a single wish actually. Understand immigration to improve the island life through integration. So, migration is a part of life and every immigrant has their own unique story. They're not all the same. You could see an immigrant and might think that because they aren't from our country, that they perhaps don't think about it. It is good to remember that because of crisis, people migrate, and it's hard work to get into any country. They keep their culture, but try to adapt to yours. These people are survivors, and very hard to beat. Our island is splendidly diverse. Your crisis is their crisis too. It's going to take input and innovation of many to solve it, but knowing it and doing it are very different things. And a check or the financial aid from the Netherlands shouldn't be seen as a cure-all, but in fact as a tool. So promote inclusion systems and integration activities so that the entire community, children and youth included, are invited to help move the needle forward. But I ask myself sometimes, how can I help? I try to be aware of the going-ons in our country and the world. In the past 5 years, there have been a lot of heinous crimes and corruptions, and so forth. And this has degraded the country and its image. I am a representative of my country, so it is my responsibility to answer people if asked about it. I study a lot, and not just in my own field. I am trying to become a knowledgeable person and try to help my countrymen to progress in every sphere of life with all my heart and mind whenever the opportunity arises. I've never seen a benefit in my life that I didn't get through someone else's sacrifice. So likewise, I just try to serve as best as I can and pay it forward. And not just on the national holidays, but each and every day. I also have a message for the ministers and politicians. It is hurtful for me to know that my peers here in the Netherlands have a bad view of the islands. I try and stay instead to acknowledge the problems rather than dismiss them. Lately though, crime is increasing and the autonomy between the society has increased enormously since I left. Not to mention that many residents still suffer from power outages. What do we expect others to make of it for us? There seem to be more problems than before, 10-10-10. Likely, I've read recently on leadership that change happens at the speed of trust, and we desperately need responsible leaders. Leaders that are wiser than simply being caught up in the moment. Practice the showing of our culture through proper actions, and educate by means of healthy discussions. The young and the youth are also concerned and informed citizens who can advocate for changes within their communities, both locally and internationally. Not to mention that there is a significant resource of intellectual illuminating people abroad. The future is coming, and therefore the inclusion of the youth in formal politics should be considered as well. Lastly, what message do I have for the community on the islands and the diaspora in the Netherlands? We don't know each other, but we almost certainly share the same story. Sure, I have a different background, but I got the chance to live with more than 2 cultures. That of my parents' culture and the culture that eventually became mine. A very fortunate experience for me actually. Because of it, I'm able to relate to others more. And whenever I can, I give my representation of my country to the world, which has never led to conflict, but solely admiration and deep fascination. I still think always of my country and wish for the best possible outcome. I remember not to allow the pride of my country to cloud my judgment and remain proud of it wherever I go, while I teach others about my homeland. Always remember that you and I represent one of the most important groups involved within the Dutch society here in the Netherlands, the new Dutch Caribbean people. And much like me, we all help to make this big kingdom out of our countries, and still make a difference today. Thanks, and that is it really. Bye.